How are some people able to create wealth while others find it so very difficult? Watch this video to understand what a poverty mindset is and how you can avoid it and create wealth. People with a poor mindset live by the money stories they were told growing up. Money doesn't grow on trees. I can't find the money. Rich people sell their soul. Good people, spiritual people, don't care about money and wealth. And these are stories, they're not real, but we play the only part we've ever known, and then we make that part our own. We learn what we live. And amazingly, one of the things that will help you generate wealth is to have a wealth mindset. So take a minute and ask other people and notice yourself. What do you say about money? I can't find the money. Money slips through my fingers. There's not enough money to go around. I don't know where the money is coming from, because you don't find money. You generate money. You work on a gift you have and you learn to monetize it. So locate all of your limiting, poor beliefs and change your mindset. I create money, I create wealth, I generate money. I have a gift and I'm monetizing it. If you just can start by switching that poverty mindset to a wealth mindset, you're already on the way to the mindset that will help you generate and also maintain your own wealth. Many people who remain poor just cannot visualize having money. They can't visualize going beyond a certain financial limit. They have what I call a ceiling limit, and they'll say things like, well, I could never afford that. People like us never get there. That's beyond people like me. And you see, when you have this limit to how much money you could ever earn, if you get close to that limit, weirdly, you'll start sabotaging yourself. Other people with that limit wouldn't even apply for a job. Oh, that's beyond me. That's out of my comfort zone. Some people, amazingly, are actually scared of wealth. Wealthy people never know who their friends are. When you have money, you get used, and they use all kinds of excuses to stay in a zone that isn't comfortable at all. We call it our comfort zone. I don't want to go out of my comfort zone. But not having enough money is never comfortable. Yes, you can be spiritual, but nowhere is it written that spiritual and poor have to be the same. Many people who are spiritual and are wealthy and do good things with that wealth. So you have to really get out of that poor visualization and see yourself having more, much more, so much more. Because the more you can see it, the more you'll start to achieve it. Also, people who find it a struggle to make money very rarely set goals. They don't set goals, they don't set goals correctly. So you must have a goal, and you must decide how you're going to achieve that goal. And your goal should be creating wealth, having financial abundance, and it shouldn't be a wish or a dream or a hope. I wish I was rich, I dream of being a millionaire, I hope one day I can make more money. When you say dream, wish, hope, your mind goes, yeah, go on dreaming, wishing and hoping, because you will never pull it off. But when you say, I am doing this, I am finding, I'm manifesting, I'm creating, I am, I can, I will, I always, I do. This is who I am. It's not a wish, it's not a dream, it's not a hope. You have a plan. So you have to have a goal, but you also must decide that you will do whatever it takes, work late, work night, work weekends, to make that goal real, because the best goal in the world will not work if you don't work. Singing that song, I want to be a millionaire so bad, will not make you a millionaire. But using your brilliant mind to work out what you could monetize, what you could create, invent, change, update, what you could do, and how you could create wealth, that will work. Many people who remain poor just do not use their money wisely. They buy things that are superficial. They spend on things that are frivolous. They don't respect and care for their money. When you respect money, you invest it. You say, look, I'm not buying that. That's a complete waste of money. I absolutely refuse to buy that. I was in a hotel in Mexico just last week. My husband went to get some nuts and they were $12. I'm like, $12? No. I am not paying $12 for a packet of nuts. I can pay $12. I have money, but I just refuse to do that because that was such a rip-off. So people who respect money will use it wisely. They invest, they spend, but they're not frivolous. They have a respect. They don't throw their money away. They don't gamble. They don't take risky investments. They think long and hard about what to spend their money on. They're very invested in not wasting it, getting a return on their money, not throwing it away. You must be able to respect money, recognize its value, to generate more of it. A poverty mindset often says this: I'm not enough. I'm not worthy enough. I'm not valuable enough. Let's imagine I was a coach and I have this feeling, yeah, but coaching isn't real, and I didn't go to university, and who am I to charge hundreds or thousands of dollars for just talking to people? See, when you have that poverty mindset, it doesn't work. You must decide that what you have offers value, that you offer value, when you know that you are enough, when you can start going, I'm worthy enough, I'm deserving enough, I am enough, I have a skill, and the universe gave me that skill, and I can monetize that skill. I don't have to charge less in case it scares people off. I am enough. I have value. What I have to offer the world has value. And people will pay for things that make them feel good. If you happen to be in a career where you can make people feel good, then you don't have to keep reducing your prices. Remember, when you charge more, you can negotiate down, but when you start low, you simply can't negotiate up. So work on your self-worth. Then you can start earning what you really are worth, not this old not enoughness, which will always block you from asking for more, earning more, because your inner belief is, I don't really deserve more. Because here's that expression, worthless. I am worth less. No, you're not. You're worth much, much, much more. And you have to know it for everyone else to know it too. There are some people who will stay poor because they really do feel uncomfortable with money. You may be astonished to know that 70% of lottery winners are dead broke in 3 years. Now, if you've never had money, you don't know what an investment is or a return on investment. You only know about getting a salary that doesn't stretch far and using it all up by the end of the week. And the people who've never had money, when they get it, they get rid of all of it. Often because they have that same belief, I'm not worth it. I also worked with 2 rock bands, and each of them were earning £4 million. That was in the 80s, by the way. It was worth a lot, and they all were completely broke when their career ended because they just spent all that money. They, again, didn't feel comfortable having it. They gave it away. They paid for everything. So remember, you must be comfortable with money. When you accrue money over time, you learn to become. When you get it all of a sudden, and that happens to many rock stars, lottery winners, people who give their kids lots of money to start a business. They run it into the ground, they give them more money. You must learn to be very comfortable with money. And you must start saying, I am comfortable with money. I'm comfortable with more money and even more money. And here's a thing to do. Decide right now, how much money would I be comfortable with? A yearly salary or the money I'd like to have in my bank? And when you've decided, triple it right now and think, oh, does that feel comfortable? No, but it will become comfortable. So wherever your figure is, triple it now and be comfortable with that. Don't aim low, aim high, because you really can have that. But first, you've got to be super comfortable with it. Many of us have a scarcity state of mind. I can't pay for that. I can't afford to tip. I'm scared of investing. I daren't lose my money. I can't risk my money. And they hold on to their money so tightly, understandably, of course, that they can't let it go out there to come back. They're averse risk. And they just keep their money, and they live in that poverty mindset all the time. We've all heard of some neighbour dying with millions of pounds under the mattress or hundreds of thousands of pounds under the mattress. They go, well, he wouldn't even spend. You know, that person took the elastic bands back from the bank because they lived like a pauper, yet they had all this money. So you have to really stop being risk averse and understand you have to speculate to accumulate. You can be a smart investor, a careful investor, a cautious investor, but holding that money so tightly, not letting it circulate, will not work for you or indeed for anyone else. Money will grow money, money will generate money, but you've got to put it out there, you've got to use it to get a return on it. Some poor people do not have nor understand a growth mindset. They don't understand that they could have a business, start their own business, generate income and be paid for their skills. They often say things like, well, no one in our family has ever gone to college. No one in our family ever did that. If you work for someone else, you're safe. You must believe that you have a skill and that your skill is worth paying for, and that your skill is really worth investing in. People will invest in you when you believe that you are worth investing in. Many salespeople will tell you the truth. Selling is a skill. And I have a great skill at selling. We don't all have that skill, but you do have a skill. Believe in yourself, believe in your skill, and then believe that your skill, you are worth investing. Because if you won't believe it, then how can anyone else believe it when you don't? You'll believe it when you see it, and you'll see it when you believe it. So some people who remain poor are just following their parents, their grandparents, working for someone else, having a steady salary, really scared to move out of their comfort zone. But you have to move out of your comfort zone. So as long as you're working for a big corporation, getting a regular paycheck, often you're not doing what makes your heart sing. You're not following your passion. You're not discovering, unlocking, or following your true skill set. And it's very hard to be successful doing what you don't love. So decide, what would you do if you could do anything? If you didn't even need a salary, what would you do? If you could pick the job of your dreams and get well paid for it, what would you do? What have you always wanted to do but held back, really because of fear of failure? Look at the possibilities. You have to do what you love in order to be successful at it. And what you love to do between the key ages of 7 and 14 is often a clue to what you're meant to do. What you love to do as a child and as a very young adult is an indicator to your unique gift, your skill set, your very own area of excellence, which you absolutely do have, even if you don't think so. A mistake that many people who remain poor do is this: they simply will not do what they hate. Here's the truth, I can only tell you the truth. People who succeed will do what they hate, what they dislike. They will do it in order to reach their goals. And people who fail will give up their dream before they did that. I have many stories of clients telling me, I did this, I worked in McDonald's, I drove a cab at night because during the day I was studying, going for an audition, and I had to be free to follow my dreams. And then I became a rock star, a movie star, a CEO. People would say, well, I would never do that. I would never work in McDonald's. I would never drive a taxi. And you slightly missed the point. One of my friends wanted to open a coffee bar, so she had to start working as a barista, very low paid, working nights in a coffee bar, because that's what she needed to know. What's it like on the night shift? How do you keep that going when there's so few clients? She had to do what she didn't want to do in order to realize her dream. You must be prepared to do what you do not want to do a lot. Get up early, go to bed late, work nights, study, learn more. Every person who has succeeded, I promise you, they have all done what they didn't want to, including me. I've done many things I didn't want to, didn't enjoy, didn't like, but if they would take me to my goal, I did them anyway. I don't want to do it, I'm doing it right now, because that's the only way you can get to success. You want to have a fit body, you have to go to the gym. Nobody loves that, first of all. But if you do it enough, actually you often start to like it. When I wrote books, I had to write through the night, all night. I had a small child. I didn't love it. I had to do it But then oddly enough, I began to really like it. So be fully prepared, committed, determined to do what you do not want to do in order to get to where you want to be. Join that club, not the one that goes, oh, I'll give up my dream before I ever do that, because that will take you nowhere. On my 21-day abundance challenge, I specifically address and hone in on money mindset issues, and I help you rewire your mind, your thoughts, your beliefs for massive abundance. So go ahead, click the link below, sign up right now. If you enjoyed that video, check out the next one right here. You can also click the link below right here for your free gift. When you focus on where you want to go, you actually go towards it. The more you focus on where you want to be, the more your mind, like a heat-seeking missile,